What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Ryan Pineda Show, where we talk all things money, real estate, and entrepreneurship. And in today's episode, I'm going to give you the truth about why I invested in real estate. So if this is your first time watching, welcome. My name is Ryan Pineda. I'm a real estate investor, business owner, entrepreneur. We've done a lot of cool things. And in some way or another, I get asked very often about what is my why? And much of that is the philosophical reason, like why are you doing what you're doing? But then even on a literal level, why focus so hard on YouTube? Why do education if your real estate business is doing so good? Why start a tax company? Why do all these other things if you're doing good in your other stuff? So today I want to honestly answer that question, but I also want you guys to apply it to yourselves as well. Because I think asking yourselves the hard questions about why you're doing what you're doing, truthfully, is going to lead to more success and more fulfillment and more purpose along the way. So I'll just be straight up honest with you guys. The very first reason why I started flipping houses was to make money. I mean, there's really no other deep meaning behind it. Yes, I've told my story about how I felt God calling me to do it, but in the end, it was really just about how do I make money? How do I stop flipping couches and doing what I'm doing? How do I provide for my family? How am I gonna survive and create a nice lifestyle? Starting out, my why for flipping houses was very selfish. And I would venture to say many of you who are trying to get into real estate investing are doing it for selfish reasons as well. You wanna be financially free. You wanna make more money. You wanna quit your job. These are all selfish reasons, and that's okay. It's okay to admit that that is the reason you're doing it. And I think anyone that does anything initially is doing it for a selfish purpose. I do believe starting out for most people, the why is always gonna be about survival. How do I sustain myself? How do I sustain my family? How do I make money to live? But once you get past that stage, things start to change. Once you're able to really meet all your needs on a basic level, you start to envision different things. Your why starts to adjust. And I can tell you that's exactly what happened for me as my business started to grow. When I first started out flipping houses, I was by myself. I was just figuring out how to do it. I was making money. It was cool. After a couple years of doing that, I hired my first employee, Nick, who ended up becoming my business partner at Forever Home Realty. I can tell you the first time hiring him, it became more than just about me making money. Backstory with him was he had worked at the clubs here in Vegas for years. He had built over a six-figure salary, was doing really well. And he did not like working in the clubs, and he wanted to go full-time into real estate, but it was just so hard to leave that salary. And so, being an entrepreneur, I convinced him to quit and trust me that, hey, this brokerage idea is gonna take off. We're gonna get a lot of work with my flips. You're gonna make a lot of money doing this. I don't know when you're gonna eclipse the salary with your club position, but I can tell you your way of life is gonna be better. And in the long term, I can promise you're gonna make far more doing this. Just so you guys are aware, this was about 3 to 4 years ago, long before any of all these crazy things have happened since. So he was betting on me essentially. And that was when I started to feel my why shift. It wasn't just about me anymore because I was taken care of at this point. I was making far more money than I'd ever had in my life. If I'm gonna bring this guy into the fold and he's gonna quit his high-paying job, I need to make sure that we can accomplish what I said we can. After that, I made my next hire, which was my friend Chris. And I actually convinced him to move to Las Vegas all the way from California. And let me tell you, this was before moving out of California was cool. Now anybody will leave California at a blink of an eye. So this was before everyone was leaving California, but I was asking him to leave the only place he's ever lived and come live with me in Las Vegas, work for this company that I think is gonna be huge. And like Nick, he actually was gonna take a pay cut in salary to do it. So now I've got 2 people quitting jobs that they worked really hard to do because they believe in my vision and they believe it's gonna better their future. My why continues to change at this point. The next person I ended up hiring was my sister. She had a corporate America job at Hot Dog on a Stick. And some of you might be saying, well, Hot Dog on a Stick, like they're whatever. But she actually was a regional manager. She was in charge of multiple states, a very high up position. Like Nick and Chris, she just did not enjoy the job. She was willing to take a pay cut to join what we were doing as well. So after 6 or 7 years where she started from the bottom, literally made the corn dogs herself, she has the scars from the oil to show it, to build herself up to being the regional manager of all these states, she decides to quit.
Hey, listen, I quit.
I can tell you at that point, my why was already shifting, but when your little sister quits her career to go join what you're doing, you have to take that seriously. And in the end, it doesn't even become about yourself anymore. Now it becomes, how do we build this company up so that all of these people can thrive? And that was only the first wave of people. Eventually we hired Sean Bob, who you've seen. We've hired all these salespeople that you've seen. And there are a ton of great people in my companies now because they believe in the vision of what we're doing. currently and where we're going. Some are making more money than they ever have. Some have taken pay cuts to be here. But what I have realized is that they're all in a better place regardless of money. And that became my why. My why became, how do I provide for these employees and build the best company possible? How do I build the best work environment? How do I build it in a way that they benefit with the growth of the company, make more money, get more time off, have more freedom?
But they'll never take our freedom!
And just the fact knowing that these people depend on the success of our company. They've got spouses, they've got kids, and if they don't do well, their family suffers. And so as I hired people, that became the why. I was already taken care of. I made my money. My company's prospered. How do I take care of my employees so I can make sure their families prosper as well? What's the point of being rich by yourself if you got no one to share it with? So it really shifted to being about my employees as I grew my companies. But what's funny is another shift started happening. Once my employees were taken care of and we started building these systems and processes out, I started to think about what else is next? How is my why gonna keep evolving? That's where YouTube and social media stepped in. Now that I've had success, how do I share it on a big level with the world? How do I take all my experiences that I've learned? How do I inspire? How do I teach? And how do I just impact people on a big level? And to me, I don't see a better way than social media. There's a lot of things on social media that are bringing the country down, bringing the world down. It's creating this comparison, it's creating divide. But then there's also a lot of people on social media being a light. They're inspiring, they're teaching, they're improving people's lives. How do I become one of those people on a big level? Because I feel like I've got a ton of stuff I want to share. And so after achieving success, that became the why. How do I share it with the world? Every time I see the comments that we're encouraging people, it just brings me a lot of joy. Every time I get DMs about the success they've had from implementing either my strategies or side hustles or tips, that brings me joy. In my education program, anytime my students are succeeding, I just love seeing it. That brings me more joy than me getting a deal. I've done hundreds of real estate deals. At this point, it's great, I never take it for granted, but seeing someone else do their first deal is way more joyful. Because I know that one deal can change your life, and being able to be a part of that is a big deal. And so to answer the question of why create so much content, why devote so much time to YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and doing all of this stuff, it is the best way to change the world and impact it on a big way. And is there financial success with it? Absolutely. Just like when I started out flipping, there was purely selfish reasons. I had to create an income to survive. And even scaling the company, I became wealthy doing that. I have no doubt that going hard at this social media will make me far more wealthy than I could ever imagine. I have no doubt about it. But that is not the main driver behind it. I think there's a big difference when you're just strictly pursuing the money versus pursuing the other things that will end up leading to money anyway. If I focus on giving you guys the most amount of value in all these videos and inspiring you, I think money and reward and everything else will come with it. If I can create great things for my employees and treat them right and help their families, money inevitably will come from it as well. So the focus is different, but the end result is great for everyone all around. So to be absolutely truthful, that is what pushes me to do what I do. And a lot of you guys know I'm Christian as well, and I'm not afraid to talk about God. And in the end, preaching God's name is the biggest goal of all of them. I do feel that that is the overarching why for my entire life. I think I'm only in these positions because He's allowed me to do it. But I think we also have these mini whys, which I just discussed. And I think those mini whys are gonna constantly be changing as your life goes on. So I wanna challenge you to think about, why are you doing what you're doing? Are you in the surviving stage right now and trying to get yourself taken care of? That's fine. Maybe you've gotten past that stage. Now what? What's gonna motivate you to keep going? If there's one thing I can tell you, money is not a big enough motivator. Once you achieve a certain level of financial success, there's not much else to do. If you make $10 million, who cares if you make $11 million? You've got more than enough money. And so chasing revenue numbers and chasing projections and a net worth, they do not lead to fulfillment. I can promise you that. I know plenty of rich people who are super depressed because they don't know their why. Their why is simply business success or money success. It doesn't work. Once you get out of that survivability stage and you make as much as you want to make, then what? That's the big question. What other whys do you have besides just making a lot of money? What kind of impact do you want to make in this world? I want to challenge you guys to think hard about that. Anyways, if you like this video, do me a big favor, go hit the like button. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, follow me on all the socials. And until next time, take care.